Hi, this is Steve. Welcome back to Scale Model Kit Review. In this video, I continue to build the Eaglemoss Aston Martin DB5. I am on issue 21. Now, I am on the final stage of this build, and this is stage 82, part 2. So we have one more issue, and that's going to be issue 22. That will be coming up here shortly. So in this stage, I'll be putting together the PCB board with all the wires and explaining what all the wires are for this kit, for this model itself. So if you haven't done so already, head over to Eaglemoss and subscribe to this car today. It's a fantastic build. It's a little bit of a challenge for me, but I've enjoyed it immensely. So let's get started. And welcome back to part 2 of stage 82. With this stage, we're going to deal with the wiring and the PCB board. I went ahead and want to give you a separate video for this so we can explain all the wiring and all the color coding for the wiring and just how you want to run everything. So let's look at the parts that are involved with this and the instructions. And here's the instructions. It says we simply attach the circuit board with all the wires on it away from the arches to the frame with two V-type screws. So what they mean by that is when we get the board out, that's this right here, we want the wiring to be away from the arches. So this is going to be facing the wheel well area, the metal parts. And that's why I protected it with some tulip slick to protect all the contacts. But that's what we're going to be doing on this stage. I'm going to be hooking up some of these wires as we go along. Let's get started. So for the circuit board, I like to protect all the soldering points on this so they don't come in contact with anything metal and short circuit out. And what I'm going to go ahead and use for that is this tulip slick. And this is a real thick acrylic paint. A lot of people use it for light blocking and such, and you've seen me use it before for these builds. So I'm just going to spread it over these soldering points. You can kind of see that. This is going to be positioned underneath the wheel well, the rear part of the wheel well, back of the car, and these are going to be facing up towards the metal. So that's why I want to protect them with this tulip. Protect all these contacts. Give this a time to dry. So when we get to that stage, and they will all be protected. Plus it's going to strengthen them a little bit. There you go. And this is what the other side looks like, which will be facing down, and this is facing up. Let's go ahead and install the PCB board and some of the wiring when necessary. So like I was saying, here's our board itself. And before I do that, I'm going to explain to you what I've done so far with the wiring. I've run the wires like a bundle underneath the car, underneath the chassis, and through the bottom here also. You probably want to be careful with that as much as possible, as you can go ahead and take the screw out that mounts the floorboard in, so you can give yourself some space to slide it in. Now we want to place these in between these tabs because later on we get some parts that hold it down. I did use some small wire ties. These are the 4-inch cable ties, as they call them, and you can find these on my Amazon store. I put a link in the description below for my Amazon store. I have lots of tools and model kits, books, swag, all that there. So looking at the board, I want to have all my wiring, and these are all pretty much going this direction is what I want, because the short wires is this green wire and this brown wire, and looks like we can reach with that, hopefully. So those are going to be tight for us on this. So we're going to take and mount it with the circuit board facing down and the wires facing up. We're going to use V-type screws for this, and we're going into metal, so let me go ahead and lubricate that before I screw it down. Once again, using my Vaseline for this. And you've heard me time and time again tell you why you want to lubricate your screws, so you don't break them, and it makes it just easier to install everything. Okay, so my green and brown are on this side, and that's where I want it. This is a V-type screw that's going into. Kind of support it here. Don't want to put too much pressure on this. And that was tulip that I did use to protect the soldering points. There's one started. And the other started. There is a pad, you probably saw it, a round pad that keeps it off the metal, but I wanted that extra protection with the tulip. And this is the tulip that I used. And I believe I did show you this in this video. Okay, so now we want to start hooking up wires, and my big concern right now is the brown and the green. So the colors of these wires, what do they mean? Let me bring up a chart for you, which you can take this same chart, the same document, and download it off my Facebook group. Here it is right here, and you can see it lists all the wiring from the mains, the red-black, all the way down to the orange, which is the ignition switch on and off. So, like I said, you can find that, and if you want to pause the video so you can see it a little bit longer, go ahead. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and hook up my green wire first, and that's the brake pedal with the green wire here. And just want to make sure that they line up like they should. Locks in. Two contacts. That's secure there. Okay, so the next wire that's kind of short is this black wire. I had to free it up so it's actually running separate, but now it can actually reach the board. So I'm going to go ahead and hook up the black wire next. And you want to line these up to where you can see the locking tab. It goes tab to tab for locking. And if it helps to use tweezers, you can use tweezers like I did earlier. just take the tweezer and squeeze it together on the pin. There we go. So that's good. So the black wire, once again, is the accelerator. Give us our gasoline, giving gas to the engine. Next, let's do the red-yellow wire. To the red-yellow wire on the board. This is for the monitor. And same thing, I use my tweezers to push it on. Good. Let's go ahead and go after this orange. Ignition switch on and off. And that went right in very easily. Go ahead and do the yellow next. That's for the speaker. And do the brown. Brown is for the light switch for the front and tail lights. Red-white wire next. And the red-white is for the dashboard. And lastly, looks like we got 2 more to go. I thought we had a white, but not just yet. No white. Okay. And let's go ahead and do the blue. Blue is for the horn. And that looks like everything. We have a white left, a black red, and 2 green reds, and 2 red blues. Obviously those are the headlights and taillights. and we'll look at neatening those up here a little bit later. So that's all we do. Now I'm just separating all these. And that's all we do for stage 82. So this is the final stage for pack 21. So stay tuned for pack 22, the final pack for this build. And if you have any questions or anything about this build, feel free to ask them over there on my Facebook group. If you join it, I put a link below on how to find my Facebook group. But if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe to my channel and hit the bell for all notifications. Head over to eaglemoss.com and subscribe to this car today. Happy modeling, everybody, and take care.